Hi guys, I am Dr.T.Sumathi, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology. In this module, we have discussed about the topic Animal Phylogeny and Biodiversity. This is Unit 1, first semester Zoology paper and Module 1 also. In this slide, we have known about what is meant by phylogeny and also especially invertebrate phylogeny. Why we study about first invertebrate? Invertebrate is a evolutionary ancestral history of invertebrate organism, that is called invertebrate phylogeny. This you know very well about what is mean by invertebrate. Invertebrate have the without notochord, that animals is called invertebrates. The animal kingdom is composed approximately 35 phyla, and it is representing we have to distinct body plan. Traditionally, the phylogeny is based on number of morphological and developmental traits or characters. We have to differentiate the invertebrate phylogeny. The animal kingdom is probably derived from unicellular protozoan like ancestor, which most likely underwent evolutionary process of cytoplasmic separation to form a multiple cells. You know the protozoans, example amoeba. The amoeba is a single cell organism. After that, the amoeba, all the cells are developed from the amoeba or the single cell organism. The side by side, the cells also developed multi-cells organism. We have divided the invertebrate phylogeny. The phylums, different phylums also occurs in the world. They have to identifying so many scientists from protozoa to echinodermata. The protozoa example already I told you, amoeba and euglena. Another one is a porifera, the example of sponges. Another one is a cylindrata, example of obelia, Plactyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca and Echinodermata. All the animals are invertebrates animals. And they have different part of the body. How the body part also changes from protozoan to echinodermata, just we have to study about invertebrate phylogeny. How the phylogenetically changes occurs in the body. These are the phylogenetic trees. Just you know about the single cellular organisms from protozoa to higher animals. Higher animals means our vertebrate animals, human being also. These are the phylogenetic trees we have arranged from the protozoan to higher animal. Phylogenetic trees of animal depicting the evolution of the animal organs is a special phylogeny. These are the examples. But what are the phylogenic animal organs also varied? Maybe external organs, locomotory organs, flagella, cilia, and the internal organs, ectoderm, endoderm, everything is varied. That is called phylogeny. It shows animal phylogeny is a term of evolution of animal organs. In this type of diagrams also phylogenetic trees also relationship of major animals, and also it is inferred based on the organ level of formation of organizations. Organization means plastoid stage, castoid stage and morula stage, and how the cells also differentiate, everything is carried out on the phylogenetic trees. The evolutionary trees or phylogeny is a formal study of organism and the evolutionary history of respective each other. Normally in the phylogeny is evolutionary history. How we differentiate from the evolutionary shows, we have to identifying the molecules of level, that is it may be RNA or DNA or protein in various organisms. These are the biomolecule level also we have to identifying the phylogenetic trees. These phylogenetic trees also vary from the organs occurs in the body level. All the animals are. So many scientists explaining about animal phylogeny. Firstly identify the scientist name, German scientist, that is called Ernst Haeckel. This Ernst Haeckel also published the paper, major paper in the scientific journals, General Morphology of Organism. He explained the law, biogenetic law, elaborated of the monograph and everything also. Normally this books is translated in other languages. Before that they don't know about the one who known about the German, that person only knowing about this Ernst Haeckel research. After that they have to translate in many languages, English and German and also some many languages. That's only we know about the what are the scientific studies occurs in the Ernest Haeckel's, and that ideas we have to follow in 1868 onwards. Normally the popular science book became bestseller and was also translated in many different languages. After that we know about the particular ones. This animal phylogeny, some scientists developed the phylogenetic trees depends upon the Ernest Haeckel hypothesis. After the ancestors also evolved from the how the species evolved from that ancestor, and recall recently some morphological characters, external characters also, and also the evidences of fossil record used to determine the what are the phylogenetic relationship between among the animals from invertebrate phylogeny. What are the uses of phylogenetic trees? Why we study about the phylogenetic trees mean the diagram that represent evolutionary relationship among the organisms. This among the organism means single cell organism, multicellular organism, and organ developing everything. This hypothesis also definite fact. It is only truth. Normally this pattern or branching in phylogenetic trees reflect how the species or other groups evolved from the series of common ancestor. That means previous animals is developed from the how the organs is developed. For example, Cylindrata, how it differentiate from the Echinodermata. Nearby organism, Cylindrata means next one Arthropoda. One of the peripatus, one of the animal that also example, it is a connecting link between the Cylindridates and also arthropods. These are the connecting link, means the characters also occurs in the Cylindrata and Arthropoda. That is called connecting links. How to describe the animal phylogeny? And this history of evolution of species or group, it descended the relationship and also it described to revise the construct of animal phylogeny. Some list out the some relationship within the modern phylogenetic trees, and it have been discovered as a result of modern molecular data. Already I told you modern molecular data means how the RNA and DNA also different, internal body organs also and molecular level also, and they have to identify the animals also varied from before animals, I means ancestral animals. The animal in constructing often animal phylogenetic trees, the current understanding of evolutionary relationship among the animals, from all the animals, already I told you protozoa is a primitive animal, next animals is a metazoa. Which animals is containing a metazoa? All metazoan animals are the multicellular organism. That is very important. This metazoa, the phyla begin with the distinction between the animal with true differentiated tissue, that is called eumetazoa. That eumetazoa animals phyla that not true differentiated tissues such as sponges, I mean porifera and blackozoa also. That we have known about the metazoa is a multicellular organism. Animal phyla we have differentiate. The current understanding the evolutionary relationship between the animal metazoa and the distinction between the true animal eumetazoa. Already I told you the tissues of such sponges called parazoa also. Both parazoa and eumetazoa evolved from the common ancestral organism that resemble the modern day protist called gonoflagellate. This gonoflagellate are normally flagellate animals also flagella using of the locomotions of the animals. Some animals have the cilia, that cilia is also the locomotive organ. Flagella also locomotive organ. So we have differentiate the parazoa and eumetazoa, that is a resembles modern day the protist called gonoflagellate. Normally these protist cells strongly resemble the sponge gonocytic cells. That gonocytic cells also contain one of the strong evidences developing from the parazoa to eumetazoa. This diagram shows the modern colonial gonoflagellate, the similarities between the feeding cells of sponges, gonocytes, and the gonoflagellate protist have been used to suggest the metazoa. It evolved from the common ancestral organism that resembles a modern colonial gonoflagellate. First one is a gonoflagellate, that is a protist. First animals is called protist. Next, these sponges also the sponges external structures also developed the sponges, gonocytic cell, the animal cells, and also it developed the gonoflagellated protist cells. The Eumetazova are subdivided into radially symmetrical animal, bilaterally symmetrical animals. You know what is meant by bilateral? Bilateral means two. Single cell organism, multicellular organism, another one is a bilateral animals. These are the classified into clades, bilateral and radiata respectively. Already I told you, I mentioned earlier, the ctenophores and animal phyla and the contain a true radial, another one is a biradial, another one is a rotational symmetrical animals. All other Eumetazova are members of the bilateral clade. These bilateral symmetrical animals are further divided into detrosomes. What are the detrosomes included? It include chordate and echinoderms. Why the echinoderms is occurs? These are the lost animals. I mean developed animal from protozoa to echinodermata. You know the echinodermata example, that is a starfish. It also contains some fish characters also. After the two distinct clades are the protozoans also including ecdysozoans and loptozoans. These are the bilateral symmetrical animals further divided into detrosomes animals. These are the developmental stages of the animal. Next, this diagram shows how the animals developed zygote to lost cell stages. Zygote means it containing a male and female gamete, it formation of zygote. After the cleavage occurs, normally the cells divided into two. After 2 cell stage, after 4 cell stage, next 8 cell stage also formed. The cell divisions occurs in all the animals. Next, one of the cleavage formation. So many cell division is called cleavage. After cleavage, they have the formation of the morula stage. That morula stage, they have no cell division. All the cells it can be collapse shaped. Another one is a blastula stage. Next, another one is a gastrula stage. During the blastula and gastrula stage also it contains cell archenodons, ectoderms, endoderms, plastopores, everything. Dorsal lip, ventral lip, everything occurs in the blastula and gastrula stage. After gastrulation, normal cells is formed. These are the general structure of from zygote to animal divisions formation of gastrula. Origin of metazoa. Just we have known about how the metazoa animals, multicellular animals is formed. Already I told you it includes sponges, coelenterate, helminthic worm, annelids, arthropods. Another one is a mollusk, echinoderms and chordata. You know the example of helminthic worms, annelids worms. Annelids also example earthworms. Arthropod examples, any one of the prawn species. Mollusk example, lamellidans. These are also the metazoans animals. Now, what are the probable ancestor of these animals? It believed the first metazoan originate from the protozoa. All the metazoan is originate from the protozoa. Because protozoa is a single cell animal. The protozoan ancestor of metazoa might be colonial, hollow in shape and spherical fledged. Everything occurs in the developed stages occurs in the metazoan stage. The metazoa is containing they have to explaining this most of the scientists also. So many theories. One is a syncytial theory, another one is a colonial theory, another one is a polyphyletic theory. These theories also explaining syncytial theory. Neural development is proposed. All the cells of an embryo are connected by the fine protoplasmic thread from the basis of nervous system. Nervous system means internal organs, how it differentiate. The scientist Henson, the scientist predicted this connection would strengthen through the function of this Dorcat. This theory also explaining nervous system disorders, nervous system organization, everything. Syncytial theory containing a multinucleate cell and also it is evolved from the multinucleate ciliates. This theory is first identifying theory, but it have not accepted by some scientists. Why it is not accepted? It have some problem. They have not explaining the radial symmetry or radiate. No evidences for the cellularization and basal metazoan. The cellularization means the formation of cell and it does not explain about the metazoan flagella. Flagellate, that is locomotion berry, they have not explaining. This colonial, next theory also colonial theory, they have to explaining the animal, how the animals is evolved by incursion from hollow spherical, colonial flagellated. They have explained everything in colonial theory. This metazoa is evolved by the colonial flagellated, and also it is based on colonial tendency of the flagellate, explaining about the flagellate. But presence of flagella is a multicellular organism. They are one of the evidences. These are explaining the morular stages, how the cells is divisions, and also planular stages or cellularization cell stage is formed. The next on the colonial stage also, how it formed from the normal development cells. Polyphyletic theory. This theory is proposed, one of the scientists is Greenberg in 1949. This theory is proposed different type of ancestor of the metazoa also. One ancestor is a colonial flagellate. It gave rise to the sponges and to ctenophore and flatworms. Ctenophores are one of the phylum, and flatworms also occurs in the next Platypus in that species. These are the origin of metazoan, how already I told you some stages. The blastula, another one is invagination of the gastrula, another one is the gastrula also occurs, ectoderm, endoderm, archenderons, and plastophore also occurs. The plastoseals also developed the external cells development, and the plastoderms are developed. After that they have to form a new cells. This is explaining the plastula stage, gastrula stage, and also morula stages also. In these sections, you have known about the how the animal invertebrate phylogeny is formed. You know very well about our sea is also mother of species. All the species first is coming from the sea, and that then the organism is developed side by side. That times also we know about the we have differentiate the invertebrate and chordate and also higher animal. Just we know about the what are the invertebrate animals is occur, how the animal phylogeny formed, especially the metazoan. I think you may be learned about the sessions, learned about the topics invertebrate phylogeny and the phylogenetic tree, and especially the origin of metazoan theories. Thank you.